Hello, Jessica here, and welcome to my storybook. Today, I'll be reading chapter 13 and chapter 14 in this book called The Whisper, The Rescue. Yesterday, in part 6, I had just read chapter 11 and chapter 12 of this book. Now, I'll be reading the part 7 in this book on chapter 13 and chapter 14 in this book. Hope you enjoy. Chapter 13. Emily's parents wouldn't actually let her spend the night at, at the Venetarian hospital, and Dr. Kasanowski probably wouldn't have either. But as long as she ate and slept properly and took lots of breaks during the day, they agreed that she could stay here with him during most of the hours that the clinic was open. Over the next few days, Zach continued to improve steadily. Her parents throw her back and forth consistently, and every single time her dog will pet her, her dog will put up as soon as she walked into the room. Dr. Kasanowski wanted them to encourage him to eat, so each time Emily will bring some kind of special treat with her, like milk bones and or beef jerky or some special freeze dry bites liver bits that Miss Sheldon, who ran the pet store, recommended that relying on like the liver bites. One of her parents always kept her company. Although mostly they just sat and read quietly or walk. She would mostly pet the dog and talk to him. It always felt like he was listening to every word she said, and she told him all about Josephine and what the house was like and how she shouldn't wait until it was time for him to come and live with them for good. Usually she liked to spend some time every day drawing or painting, so she would bring a skipping pad along with her. Her parents had enrolled her in lots of different after school and summer art classes so that she could learn different techniques. But a few simple pencils and easels was still her tourists. That was a good subject, with her altar eyes and his floppy ears, and she knew him from lots of different angles, filling up half a pile of paper in about 3 days. Sometimes, especially in the late afternoons, she would doze off, and as often as not, Zach would fall asleep, too. The Noble treatments seemed to make him this extra towel. But every day, his breathing was getting better, and he had stopped coughing in as much. The other good news was that none of the animal shelters or other veterinarians in certain in a certain part of Maine had anyone report a missing white dog to help Zach's lungs heal. Dr. Kasanowski taught her a technique called carping. She would bend her hand halfway and then move it around her chest with gentle taps, which was supposed to loosen the motor inside his lungs and help him cough it away. Usually, Dr. Kasanowski or one of the vet techs did the comfort themselves, but sometimes they watching her try it for a couple of minutes too, to make sure that she was doing it right. Dr. Kasanowski also wanted him to start exercise a little bit, so twice a day they would walk very slowly around the room a couple of times. Emily was afraid that it would hurt him too much to put weight on his chest, but Zach seemed comfortable losing only 3 legs. and very happy to be moving around. She felt Casagalale just sitting next to the cage where he was with companions, so she couldn't remain how confined it must feel to be inside it. Even though the watch was so short, Zack would wag his tail the entire time. Then, when he started to get tired, he would run the side of his head against her leg, and she wouldn't know that it was time to stop. It would get someone to lift him back up onto an examiner table or into the cage. On Friday afternoon, Dr. Kasanowski said that it would be okay for them to try going outside for the first time. So the three of them, along with her mother, took a very slow stroll around the parking lot, Zach wagging his tail nonstop, moving along with lots of energy, and he even stopped once to bark at a senator. He'd also sniffed in the air for a long time, and then walked directly over to her parents' car, noticing the passenger's side door cautiously. Emily looked over at Dr. Kasanowski, who had a bored smile on his face. "What do you think, Dr. K?" she asked. "I think I'm going to send him home first thing tomorrow morning," Dr. Kasanowski said. Emily was so excited that she bent down to get Zach a bag and careful and hard as she could. "Do you hear that?" she said. "You're coming home." Zach wagging his tail even harder and barked again. As far as she could tell, he was as happy about it as she was. On their way back to the house, she and her mother stopped at the pet store to buy a bunch of supplies. They picked out a red plaid collar with a matching lace, a big French bed with a blue cotton over, Carolina and dry food, beef and cheese and flour, biscuits, a couple of bones for him to shoot, a brush and a comb, a hard rubber ball, and a package of tennis balls. "How about these?" her mother asked, pointing towards a set of crawling food and water dishes, which looked which looked a lot like the ones in his cage at the vet's. Emily shook her head. "He doesn't like melter. It hurts his teeth." Her mother blinked. "Oh, well, okay. Which ones do you think he will like? Them." Emily glances at the debit counts of dishes displayed and knew the right answer immediately. The blue ones, and they matched his bed. Her mother struggled and put the plastic bowls into the shopping cart. "I know it's a lot of stuff, Mom," Emily said, "but it is okay if we get something for Josephine, too, so her family won't be hurt." Her mother smiled. "That sounds like a good idea." So they brought Josephine's second car a catnip mat, which Miss Sheldon assured them the cats loved to sleep and play around on, and a new caramel food dish with my tiny flowers on it. Maybe Josephine didn't actually care one way or the other, but Emily had always thought that her cat performed things that were pretty. She and her mother had called ahead to tell her father the good news, and when they got home, he had already cleared out a large space on the den floor to put Zach's new bed. "Hmm, thank you," Emily said. "But isn't he going to sleep in my room?" "Oh, her father floored it. I don't know. It, is that what dolls do?" She and her mother nodded. "Okay then," her father said, then shrugged and carried the French beds upstairs. After supper, it occurs to Emily that Zach might not feel strong enough to climb the stairs, or that trying to do it might make his leg hurt. So while her mother was working on a slumber for one of the political science classes, she was going to be teaching them that semester. Emily and her father decided to make an extra dog bed, which they would put in the den, just in case. And this way, he can be in there. He can be in here with us when we watch movies and stuff. Emily said. That's right, her father said, and indicated the television, while the Red Sox were losing by nine runs in the fifth inning. We essentially wouldn't want to miss wouldn't want him to miss things like that. Emily grinned. Maybe he'll heal quickly if we don't even let him see really bad scores. Her father nodded. A night will improve my health. It took a pretty long time, but they carefully cut an oversized cardboard box down until it was the perfect size for a dog bed, and neatly piled old beach towels inside for padding. When they were finished, Emily used different color magic markers to write exactly on the outside and draw bones and bars and birds and things on the cardboard too. Josephine embroidered downstairs, snapping at the bed, and then coiled it up in the middle of it, on top of the towels. Emily had accepted that since she had completely ignored her new cabinet mat and gone to sleep on the French bed the second her father had put it in her bedroom. I think old Zach's going to have some competition, her father said. Emily nodded. It should look that way. She was just finishing her drawings when her mother came down from her bed office to see how they were doing. What do you think, Mom? Her mother bent down to explain the bed and give Josephine a pat when she was at it. Very nice, she said. I'll sleep in it myself, which Emily thought was really funny to picture. After the Red Sox lost by only 1 run, after almost coming back to win in the bottom of the ninth, they went out to the kitchen to have some ice cream. Her father always said that it was very important to seek some small comfort, particularly in the form of sweets. After demoralizing defeats, she was pretty sure that it would be impossible to get to sleep all night all that night, but she must have felt more tired than she thought, because she dropped it off in the middle of the reading a chapter in her latest book. When she woke up, the book was still lying across her chest, and the sun was shining through her windows. She left her book to pick up where she had left off, and then remembering that this wasn't an ordinary, lazy summer morning. Today was the day that her dog was coming home. Chapter 14. Emily and her parents drove over to the Illinois hospital so that they would be there right when it opened. In fact, Emily had been so eager for them not to be late that they ended up arriving half an hour early. Wanda, the office manager, laughing when she saw them waiting in the parking lot. Pretty inside, she asked, as she unlocked the front door of the building to let them in. Very inside, Emily said. Once Zach had one last explanation and passed with flying colors, Emily put on his new collar and lace. In the meantime, her mother wrote down the detail of once her home care instructions and gathering together the other buyers. and other medications he was going to have to take for the next few weeks. While her father mostly stood around looking at us, he thought they were getting in way over their heads. Zach will also have to come back for regular checkups to make sure that his lungs were staying clear and that his injuries were healing. When they came out to the waiting room, Emily hanging tightly to Zach's leash, the people waiting for opportunities, appointments, must have heard the whole story from Wanda or someone because they all clapped. This is one lucky dog, a woman said. Emily was pretty sure that she was the lucky one, but she just nodded and thanked the woman who had a little black and white fluff ball of the dog preaching on her lap. Name, as it turns out, Wolverine. When they were all finally in the car, her father handed a copy of the bill over to her mother, who showed it and gave it back. Let's hope we don't need a new roof or anything this year, she said. Let's hope we don't even need to buy gas, her father said, or food. Emily hadn't even thought about how much all of this special vegetarian care must have cost, and now she felt guilty. I'm sorry, she said. Was it really expensive? Her father grinned. Put it this way, Em. Put it this way, I hope you aren't going to need braces. And Carlos is out. Carlos is out too. Oh no, Emily was about to offer to give her her allowance for the next several years, when her mother shook her head. Don't tense her, though, her mother said, and turned around in her seat to look at her. Are you happy? Incredibly happy, Emily nodded. Okay, then her mother said, I can't think of a better way to spend our money. Now please, put on your seatbelt. Emily quickly put her seatbelt across herself and clicking it in place. She wouldn't have liked to belt that in somehow, too, but he was spread for out across the rest of the rest of the seat. With his buzzer resting on her knee, and she didn't want to disturb him. Hmm, thank you, she said. I mean, really, thank you. Her father nodded. You're welcome, but no birthday presents, and nothing for Halloween or Christmas either. And knock it off, buddy, her mother said. What a grim drive. Her mother grinned back, saluted her, and started the car. When they pulled up to the house, their next neighbor, their next, their next door neighbor, Miss Pellboy was lifting some kept groceries out of her car. She stopped, set the bags down on the hood, and walked over to meet them. So this must be the famous Zach, she said, since he had technically washed up on the vegetables box. Emily and her parents had told them all about it, the first time they had run into them afterwards. Yes, this is Zach, Emily said, feeling very proud. The dog wagging his tail at Miss Pellberry in a friendly way. Well, now he's going to be something, isn't he? Miss Pellberry said, and patting him briefly before going back to retaliate to our groceries. Even in such a short period of time, the dog's form was already growing back and looking dead and fluffy. When he was strong enough, he was going to need a bath. because there was sometimes some stings in the right foot, but he's still looking good. His legs and tail were gracefully feathered, and his brown eyes were so dark that they looked almost black. He was also starting to grin a little way, and wasn't nearly as far as he had been just a few days early. Zach seems to want to explore anything, anything once, and Emily let her wander around the log for a few minutes before starting him over towards the deck and the back door. When they were inside, Josephine was sitting on the kitchen floor, watching her face. As soon as she saw the dog, her full puffed up and she hustled. Before leaping dramatically up onto the kitchen table, Zach just stood near the door, waving his tail passionately. Emily didn't want her cat to feel jealous or left out, so she went over to pick her up and hug her. "You're still the best cat in the world," she said. "We just had a dog now, too. That's all." Josephine has us again, but she was also, but she also, but she was also a person. So Emily figured that the hissing was most just for show. The dog wandered around the kitchen for a moment, sniffing everything and sat and milk on Emily's photo offering him. Although he didn't eat it, instead he stood in the middle of the floor, looking almost and unsensory, and holding the biscuit in his mouth. Emily felt a little unsure of herself, too. She had accepted the dog to be overjoyed to be in his new house, but so far he mostly seemed uncomfortable and anxious, shy, even. "What do we do now?" she asked. "You both relax. That's what you do." Her mother said, "This is a big change for him, all at once. Yeah, he needs a little time to adjust." Emily nodded, but she was still uneasy. Was there some trick to having a dog that she didn't know about? He wasn't happy enough to do things like chase at the bars and throw bees that so they couldn't just start playing around and having fun. So that should do there. So what should they do instead? Maybe he was tired. Now that she thought about it, she was pretty tired. He had been a really long week. "Well, I don't know about the rest of you," her father said. "Well, I'm going to go read the paper." He reaches down to the zap, temple on the head. Good boy. We're glad to have you had." Her father always read the paper in the morning, so that seems nice and normal. "Maybe I should show him where his room is," Emily said to her mother. Her mother nodded. "Sure. We really don't have anything planned for today, so I think we should all just take it easy. Maybe we can watch a movie or something now, but that's about it. Okay? That'd be good," Emily said. She still felt so formal and strange, but but decided that she would head for her room and see if the dog followed her. "Come on, come on, Zach. Let's go upstairs." He immediately fell in right behind her, although she paused to let him go first on the stairs, so she could make sure that it wasn't too hard for him. He left his cat he left his cat for a few seconds and then held back. "Come on, boy," she said accordingly. Zach started to lift himself onto the first step and then retreated holding his cats in the air. She had never really noticed how steep the stairs were, and since he was injured, she shouldn't have realized that he wasn't going to be able to make his way up there anytime soon. So they were going to have to think of a new plan. It was a good thing that she and her father had made their extra dog bed. After that, I'm sorry, Zach. We'll stay down here, she said. But just so you know, that's mine and Dad's room. Emily said, pointing towards the second floor, and that's the guest room and the upstairs are fenced. Mom likes to walk in there, but Dad usually was in the den. If you go down the other way, that's the bedroom, and that's my room over here. The dog seems to take all that in, although she couldn't be sure. Besides, it wasn't as though he was going to be closing on it there. She lured him into the den, while Josephine was already stretching out in the cardboard bed, talking out a lot more room than an 8-pound cat should be able to take up. Emily pounded the towels to indicate that Zach should lie down there, but the dog looked wily and kept his distance. Josephine stretching and lustily, taking up even more room. No, come on, Emily. No, come on, Emily said, picking her up and moving her over onto the couch. Josephine jumped off the couch right away and went to lying on top of the television. Instead, that wasn't ideal, but at least it meant that she wouldn't get in Zach's way. It was kind of funny that a small cat could eliminate a dog who weighed 10 times more than she did. The dog was still standing there with his milk bone in his mouth, and Emily suddenly felt really, really tired. But then she knew, just as suddenly, that was fun and the dog was the only one who was tired, which was real again. But it was probably just because they had been spending so much time together, and she was starting to understand the way he wishes to reacting to things. Okay, we really should lie down now, she said. Stay here for a minute. I'll be right back. She hurried out to the kitchen to get his blue dishes and brought them into the den. She set the water dishes. She set the water dish near the bed and put some dry food in the other dish in case he was hungry too. There you go, she said. Now, you're all set. Lie down now, okay? The dog climbed carefully into the cardboard bed, but still didn't lie down. He wasn't due for any more indication for a few hours, but maybe his lungs hurt. So she trapped his chest for a couple of minutes during the cardboard she had been taught. The dog's tail wagged, but he stayed on his feet. All right. She was running out of ideas. Maybe it would help if she stretched it out on the floor next to his bed. If he thought she was going to rest, maybe he would decide to try it too. Her new school had emailed out a list of books they wanted all of the incoming seventh graders to read during the summer, and she was way behind. So she went back upstairs and slept one fondle pound on her desk. Once she was in the den again, but the dog was still standing uncensored on top of the floor of the folding towels, she grabbed a towel pillow from the couch and lay down on the floor. Sam probably climbed out of his cardboard bed, curled up next to her legs, crunching his big bone, and let out a content sign. Josephine jumped over from the television, probably at him suspiciously, and then go back into the cardboard bed, seeming to fall asleep within seconds. Emily had every intention of waiting industrially, but there was something very peaceful about being surrounded by sleeper pets, especially when they both seemed to be so happy. So what would hurt if she took a little nap too, even though they were all on the floor, just for 10 minutes, 20 at the most, or an hour tops. That will be the end of this book, of the part 7 called Dog Whisper, The Rescue. Tomorrow, I'll be reading chapter 15 and chapter 16 in this book in part 8. Until then, take care, and I'll see you next time.